I googled this phrase, the psychology of toys, and I got something really interesting. So why is that important, and what does it have to do with this vintage Star Wars toy? Let's go. I am a kid born in the late 70s and raised in the 80s. I played with building blocks. I built my own skateboard ramps using my dad's skill saw and leftover wood, Lincoln logs, Legos, Etch-a-Sketch, erector sets, Tinker toys. There's a theme to this. So this is what I googled, the psychology of toys, and this is what I got. Toys enhance cognitive behavior and stimulate creativity. They aid in the development of physical and mental skills, which are necessary later in life. One of the simplest toys, a set of simple wooden blocks, is also one of the best toys for developing minds. A set of wooden blocks. How many of you pulled out the Tupperware from your mom's kitchen and used those as building blocks? How many of you used the cardboard boxes and styrofoam inserts to build your own playsets? You didn't even need to paint them or dress them up with dirt or trees. In your mind, you saw a battlefield. In your mind, you saw a planet full of futuristic buildings, a desert. You saw a whole movie in your mind. Your eye was the camera. Your room or backyard was the movie set. Your action figures were your actors. So why am I saying this? Here is what I think is possibly the best Star Wars playset ever. Possibly the best toy ever. So let's do some history. So there's this company called Kenner. You might have heard of them. Before they became world famous for the Star Wars line of toys changing the way toys were marketed to kids, they were a fledgling toy company based in Cincinnati, Ohio. Well, maybe not fledgling. Up to that point, they were best known for the Easy Bake Oven and also the $6 Million Man. But back to the Easy Bake Oven. It was toys like that where it wasn't just kids opening the box, pulling out a toy, and getting immediate satisfaction. Toys back then were meant to challenge the mind of a child. Like the toys I mentioned before, Lincoln Logs or Tinker toys. Toys like the Easy Bake Oven often forced kids to plan, illustrate creativity, and they had to wait for an outcome. From Kenner's spirograph to girder and panel building sets, engineering was big with toys from the 1960s and 70s. After all, we were in the space age, and engineers, astronauts, and mathematicians were changing the world, and you saw it on the news every night on TV, in your family car, or in your kitchen. This is probably the best Star Wars toy Kenner ever made for kids. The Droid Factory was first released in 1979 for the Star Wars line of toys, and then in 1980 re-released in an updated box for the Empire Strikes Back line of toys. The main difference in the boxes? On the first Star Wars box, you only saw Jawas, but on the Empire Strikes Back box, it added Luke and Ben Kenobi. The crane and the base of the playset was also used in 1983 and 1984 for Jabba the Hutt dungeon action playsets. There are slight differences in color and mold features, but it's basically the same without all the droid parts and compartments. But let's really get to know the Droid Factory, and there is a lot to know. So I bought two versions. Why? Well, one, because I am crazy, and two, I really wanted to understand this toy, and it just so happens that I got two variant boxes. One from the Star Wars movie and one from the Empire Strikes Back, so you can see the difference. And I wanted to get one to where I can basically act like a 6-year-old and explore the heck out of it. And the other one I bought with unused contents because I wanted to see what it was like to get these in an almost preserved state. I'll tell you later what I paid for it because Mrs. Padawan is behind the camera, and if she finds out how much I paid for it, she'll end me. I'm kidding. You were in the same room when I bought it. Yeah, that one. Jeez. So this playset came like this in 1979. The orange plastic base, 6 bags of accessories, 1 Droid Factory part list, 1 sticker label sheet, 1 Droid Maker blueprints, and 1 catalog. Once all assembled and the parts are in place, it looks like this. And there are a lot of parts. So let's go over them so you know what to look for when finding these in the wild loose. The baggies contained 1 brown crane with a black hook, 1 pivot pin for the crane, 1 orange hydraulic tubing, 16 connector pins. I happen to be missing 1 in my loose set, so if anyone has an extra, let me know. 5 main droid bases, all different molds, 1 droid body, 1 base stand, 4 droid arms, a scoop arm, drilling arm, hook arm, and pincer arm, 1 radar unit, 2 axles, 4 black wheels, 2 tank threadings, 1 antenna, 2 wheel supports, 2 leg supports, 2 leg pods, 1 computer housing, and R2-D2's parts that come in 5 pieces. R2-D2's top, 2 R2-D2 leg sides, 1 cylinder, and 1 R2-D2 center leg. That's a lot of parts. And I thought the Ewok village was a lot. Now, there's something that I have never seen on a YouTube video. How in the heck do you use this, and how do you build something other than R2? Now, going back to the beginning of the video, the engineering aspect of this toy and asking kids to build their own droids. And even though this comes with blueprints, we are going to do 2 things. We're going to pick a random droid and build that, and we're also going to use our imagination and build one from scratch. And we are going to build this one, the Tracto droid. So let's start. And that came out pretty good. Now let's try one that I come up with randomly. Okay, so I tried, but I'm gonna get better at this. But if you're on the Padawan Academy on Facebook, show me what you build without using instructions, and I'll pick a winner at random, and I'll send you something very cool. There are 3 other basic droids that you can build using the blueprints: Roll Arc Droid, Meccano Droid, and the Quad Pod Droid. You can use the ramp to send down droids or have them wenched up. You can also have the crane move the droid parts from the storage area to the build zone. And now, for how much I paid for these. I got both of these boxed, but the Star Wars one is basically loose with the blueprints in them and missing 1 extra peg, like I said before. I paid $165 for it off an auction on the Imperial Commissary Facebook channel. I think that's not a bad price. The box isn't the best, but you can find some pretty affordable options even without a box. And this one, well, this one has a better box in the Empire Strikes Back logo with unused content. This one comes with all the inserts, and this one cost me $1,250. A big price, but considering how much respect I have for this toy, and how much I wanted to have one to play with and research on, and one for preservation, I think it's well worth it. I wasn't able to find a company who sold an acrylic for it, so if you have a company that builds acrylics and you want to be featured on this show, talk to me. So let's cross these off our list, and this is special because I bought 2 of them. So I'm going to list one, and I got it for $165 from Michael Haven's auction on the Imperial Commissary Facebook group. And we're going to mark this as used contents. And then there's the Empire Strikes Back boxed item that we got from David S. on the Imperial Commissary for $1,250, and mark this as unused contents. This playset from Kenner, I think, is an essential playset if you're trying to complete a Star Wars vintage collection, mainly because of the history that this toy commands. Not just because it came with an action figure in the R2-D2 unit and the 3rd leg, but because of the fact that this came on the tail end of a Troy mantra that drove parents to buy toys for their kids because of the mental stimulation and creativity that it developed in kids. And although we have toys like that today, we rarely see that in the mainstream toy lines, and that is why this one is so special. So let me know what you think about this playset, and let me know what you think of my take on this. And if you found this video interesting, please give it a like. And if you want to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing. And if you've enjoyed my content for a while now and want to help me make these videos possible, please become a Patreon supporter and join a great community and get some great perks. And if you prefer to support me right here on YouTube, please join my community here. You'll get some amazing perks as well. Just hit that join button. Your support makes these videos possible, and I thank each and every one of you. And as always, my friends, thank you, and I will see you next time. These playsets have the most parts I have ever seen. Kids were geniuses back then.
If you're new to the channel, check out the welcome video, or just check out the next episode. And please subscribe if you want to follow the journey. And remember, there is no shame in being a Padawan.